Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new on my channel, then welcome. Today's to buy or not to buy is going to be all about the Ordinary Serum Foundation. This is the more natural looking one versus the other one, which is more full coverage. It's not like I need any more foundations. I mean, I just recently uploaded 2 videos about my foundation collection, which is big enough already. I understand that, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think there's ever enough foundations. So when I saw this, I really wanted to give it a try because of the amazing reviews that this little thing has gotten. So we are going to put it to the test and see how good this really is. Just see how it performs. I'm going to do some check-ins, and by the end of the day, we shall see how well this held up. So if you want to see how this little guy performs, then just keep on watching. As you can see, some makeup products are already on my face. I did my eyes and my eyebrows just to speed up the process a bit. Besides that, I have done nothing to my face except moisturize and also use some color corrector / brightener underneath my eyes. Before we start applying this foundation, I just quickly want to go over some of the generic things about this foundation. It comes in this little cardboard box, which in my opinion is super sleek, and I cannot believe how affordable this is, yet they have, you know, made the packaging look really nice. And the same goes for the foundation bottle itself. I think it's really cute, very chic. It comes with a pump, which is a very positive thing, especially considering that even some of the very high-end and luxury foundations such as Estee Lauder Double Wear and NARS Sheer Glow, they don't have pumps and they are way more expensive than this thing is. The foundation comes in 21 shades, which range from very fair to very deep, and they all have different undertones as well. You get 30 ml or 1 fluid ounce, which is a regular size for a foundation. This also is fragrance free and it has SPF 15 without the added chemical sunscreen in it. I checked the price from the Cult Beauty website, which is a UK distributor. They sell this foundation for £5.70. I believe in the States it was around $6 or $7. I think it was $6, but I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but I believe it was $6. So it is very affordable, as I said. I think this is all about the information. Let's get into applying. Okay, so the way that I'm going to do this video is how I always do the foundation reviews on the to buy or not to buy series, which means that I'm going to apply primer on one side of my face, and on the other I'm just gonna apply foundation just normally on my skin, and we're gonna see whether the primer helps at all, or you know, which side looks better by the end of the day, or even after applying. We're gonna see all that. And also I'm going to use a damp beauty blender on one side of my face and a brush on the other side of my face, just to see which tool works best with this particular foundation. Mine is in the shade 1.2 YG, which stands for yellow gold. For my primer today, I'm going to use the Marc Jacobs Undercover Perfecting Coconut, Invisible Undercover Perfecting Coconut Face Primer. Yeah, I'm thinking I want to do this side with the primer because I have some more texture and breakouts on this part, so we'll see whether this foundation slides on those areas better with the primer. I am going to apply the foundation first on this side just because I want to let the primer sink into my skin a bit. It says here to shake the foundation before using it, so ooh, it's very liquidy, and very yellow. I'm gonna take the damp beauty blender, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, this is more coverage than I thought, because when I read that it was a serum foundation with light coverage, that's exactly what I thought I was going to get, that, you know, there wasn't going to be that much coverage to it. Don't get me wrong, it is very lightweight. It's funny, I just thought that it would have less coverage than this. It's going on really nicely though, and you can definitely still see my skin and my skin texture. It is kind of evening out my skin tone, which is nice. Just some of the areas, I'm not sure whether you can see that very well, but you can definitely see the texture on my face, at least when you look up close. Just the dry areas on here I have a lot of dryness above my eyebrows and around my mouth. Those are the two worst areas on my face. Well, besides the breakout section over here. And every single time I apply any kind of makeup on there, it just doesn't look that great. I used up the whole pump. It did cover up my whole face. Well, the whole half of my face, but I do want to build it up just slightly more because I want to see whether it can cover up the redness, which is still somewhat peeking through. Put on another pump and just took some on my beauty blender, and we'll see how this builds. Okay, it is slightly more yellow than my skin tone, but it's nothing too bad. I can absolutely make this work. You can definitely see those dry areas and just some of the redness still. So I just might have to cover that up with some concealer. I don't know how I feel about this, guys. But we have applied the whole amount, and the whole half of my face is covered. It doesn't look bad. It does look very natural because, as I said, my skin is still peeking through. But I'm not a fan of the dry areas. You cannot see it that well from the camera, but looking up close, you can definitely see all of my texture, all of my dry areas. Let's do the other side with the brush. I'm going to use the Zoeva 102 Silk Finish brush. Again, I'm pumping out one whole pump of this foundation. I feel like it's spreading out and blending really nicely though. The brush isn't soaking up as much product as the Beauty Blender did because I used half of one pump and my face is covered. Definitely using a brush will take the product a bit further, but that's always to be expected with every single foundation. Definitely looks way more heavy on this side when applying it with a brush, but thanks to that it also gave me more coverage just from that one full pump instead of two pumps that I used on this side. Just want to go over this area with the Beauty Blender as well because I just feel like too much product is collecting around my nose and mouth. Okay, I'm gonna come closer to the camera. This is the Beauty Blender side. You can still see some of the breakouts, you know, and texture. Again, you can see the breakouts. Now that the foundation is on, let's try on some concealer as well because I want to see how concealer blends on top of this foundation. First, putting on the Maybelline Instant Anti-Age, the Eraser Eye Perfect and Cover Concealer in the shade Nude. And then I'm going to apply the Wet n Wild Photofocus Concealer in the shade Light Ivory on top. I'm going to apply some of the concealer just around my nose a bit to cover up the redness. The concealer blended out very nicely, no issues anywhere. I'm not like crazy about this, but I don't hate it either. I'm kind of so-so at the moment, but I'm going to go finish up the rest of my face and then I'm gonna come back here. Okay, so I finished up the face. I used the RCMA No Color Powder and the bareMinerals Concealer in powder form in the shade Well Rested underneath my eyes. I used the Modern Renaissance palette to finish up my eye makeup. Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer SPF 15. I have no idea why they call it bronzer when it is clearly a highlighter. And this is in the shade Reserve Your Cabana. And then I used the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro palette and the shade number 8 in it to contour my cheeks slightly. And I went over that with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer, of course. For blush, I used the M.A.C Mineralize blush in the shade Warm Soul. And for my lips, I mixed together the shades 3 and 6 in the Anastasia lip palette. This is how we are looking. Honestly, I couldn't tell a difference with blending powders on top on either side. But as a last thing, I want to set down half of my face and I'm going to use the Milani Make It Last setting spray on this half where I also use the primer because I just want to see whether the setting spray and the primer do actually elongate the wear time of this foundation. So this is it for now. It's currently almost, I don't know if you can see, 5:30. It's kind of late already, but anyway, it's 5:30, so I'll jump back here in a couple of hours. It is now 9:30, which means that this has been on my face for 4 hours. I don't really see that it has changed all too much. I think it's gotten slightly dewy on my forehead. I wouldn't say that it's oily, but it's just shiny. Everything else looks pretty much the exact same. I cannot differentiate between the primed side with the setting spray and the unprimed side and without the setting spray. It's looking very similar to the time that I first applied it, so nothing really major has happened so far. The only place that it has worn off slightly is around my nose. That is so usual. I don't have any foundations that would last throughout the whole day and keep my red nose at bay. There just isn't such a foundation invented. This was the check-in. I will see you guys again in a couple more hours. It is really incredibly late. It is 1:15 in the morning and I am super tired. I'm ready to wash this makeup off my face and go to bed. So yeah, if you can see me looking extremely tired, that is why. The foundation has been on my face for roughly 8 hours. One thing that is so funny to me is that I'm oily on the forehead and on my cheeks right here and on my chin. And that never happens to me. This was a very matte foundation when we first started, and that's how it felt like. You know, it felt matte on the skin. So it's just funny to me that I am now oily. I scratched my nose quite a bit and the foundation has come completely off in this area. It has sunk into the lines on my forehead over here. Not so bad over here, funnily enough. I don't know whether that's the primer or the setting spray or both. I don't know. I think the bronzer and blush have stayed on better on this side where we're primed versus this side where it's just worn off slightly more. All in all, the foundation held up very nicely and I do like that it's still looking like skin. It's just bizarre to me that I'm oily, but given the fact that it's so affordable and it lasts a very nice amount of time, even without a setting spray and a primer, it's a decent foundation. So I would say that the Ordinary Serum Foundation is a yes from me, just because it did a decent job and it's affordable. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. If you like the to buy or not to buy series to continue, then please give this video a thumbs up, and also if you want to see my future videos, then don't forget to subscribe. That's that. I'm so ready to go to bed now. I'm already half asleep and I'm finding it really difficult to talk even. I'm surprised that words are coming out and it's making sense. I hope it's making sense. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye!